Have you ever felt totally stuck when it comes to your career? You know that feeling where you're so overwhelmed by all the things you could do that you end up doing, well, nothing? Today, we're gonna dig into a really counterintuitive idea, that your career confusion might not actually be your fault. And the real problem? It might just be the very interests you think you're following.
So let's just jump right in. Does this sound familiar? Monday, you're all in on learning to code. By Wednesday, you're watching videos about options trading, thinking, hey, I could do that. Then the weekend hits and you're daydreaming about launching your own business. It's a classic case of analysis paralysis. But here's the question. What if the problem isn't which door to choose, but who put all those doors there in the first place?
And that leads us right to our first section. Let's talk about being paralyzed by interest.
Okay, so this is the trap. You see all these shiny, exciting paths, and you feel this pull in a million different directions. You think, wow, I'm interested in so many things. But what happens? That feeling of having all this potential just dissolves, and pretty soon, you're just stuck, spinning your wheels. Days go by, then weeks, and you still haven't moved an inch. You've done nothing at all.
All right, so let's take a closer look at a couple of the most tempting paths that people get hung up on. This brings us to section 2, the shortcut fantasy. We're gonna pull back the curtain on this one. First up, options trading. It's sold as this incredible shortcut to getting rich, right? But let's just look at the cold, hard numbers for a second. The reality is pretty brutal. A whopping 99% of people who get into it end up losing money. 99%. The odds are just completely, overwhelmingly not in your favor. And this quote just nails it. You really have to stop and ask yourself, if the smartest investors on the planet, we're talking people with infinite money, entire teams of PhDs, if they aren't playing this game, why do you think you can win? I mean, are they all just fools, or do they know something you don't?
And here's what they know. You have to understand the business model that's being sold to you. It's called the Guru Playbook. An expert sells you a course, right? Then they take your money to go rent a Lamborghini in a mansion for the weekend. They film it, post it online, and that flashy lifestyle is the marketing that gets the next person to buy the course. It's a perfect loop where their money comes from you, not from their amazing trading skills.
So when you really break it down like that, this interest in trading, it doesn't really feel like a genuine interest anymore, does it? It feels a lot more like a very carefully set trap, baited with this promise of a shortcut that, let's be honest, just isn't real.
All right, what about the other dream, the Shark Tank dream? We all love this idea that you can just walk into a room with a brilliant idea and walk out with a check. But that's not how it works. The reality is that investors don't throw money at ideas. They invest in businesses that already have customers, that are already making money, that have proven they work. An idea by itself, it's basically worthless.
And look, here's a really simple gut check. If you're trying to force yourself to come up with a business idea, if you're looking for motivation, then starting a business is probably not for you. Real entrepreneurs, they can't turn it off. They're obsessed. They see problems and opportunities everywhere they look. If that doesn't sound like you, then this interest in business probably isn't a true passion.
So, if these really strong feelings aren't genuine interests, then where in the world are they coming from? This question is the real heart of the matter. Welcome to Section 3, Your Planted Desires.
Okay, this is the big idea right here. It's called a manufactured interest. It's a desire that feels completely like your own, like it came from deep inside you, that it didn't. It was put there, planted in your head by social media, by clever marketing, by all those gurus. And the whole point is that it's designed to benefit them, not you. Now, just let this quote sink in for a minute. The argument here is that almost every single one of your interests isn't actually yours. They were planted there. This idea is a total game changer because it flips the whole script. The question isn't, what am I interested in anymore? The real question is, wait a minute, who made me interested in this?
And there's a perfect analogy for this. Think about it. You can be super interested in a famous celebrity. You can know everything about them, but it's a one-way street, right? It doesn't mean anything unless, by some miracle, they're also interested in you. It's the exact same thing with a career. The market has to be interested back. Your passion means nothing if nobody's willing to pay you for it.
So, if we can't trust our feelings and our desires, what are we supposed to do? Well, let's pivot from what we wish were true to what is true. This brings us to section 4, skills, not wishes. Let's just put our options through a simple logical filter. Okay, options trading.
Qualifications? None. Natural skill? Totally unproven. Market need for another amateur trader? Basically zero. How about that big business idea? Well, there's no idea or plan yet, so skill is unknown. But then you look at coding. Qualifications? You've got a master's degree in it. Natural skill? Yeah, you're good at it. And the market need? It's huge. See, when you just strip away all the hype and look at the facts, the choice becomes kinda obvious.
But here's the thing. Even when the logical choice is staring you right in the face, a lot of us still hesitate. We come up with excuses, like, but I don't want a boring 9-to-5 job. So if the path is so clear, what's really stopping us from walking down it?
And honestly, this is the part that might sting a little. The real problem usually isn't confusion, it's comfort. Think about it. If you have a roof over your head and you're not desperate for money, I'm confused becomes this perfect, socially acceptable excuse. It's an excuse to put things off, to avoid doing the hard work that needs to be done.
Okay, so how do we break out of this cycle? How do we finally move forward? That's what our last section is all about, the path to clarity. Here it is. This is the simple framework you can use to cut through the noise. Number 1, question your interest. Be a detective. Ask yourself, where did this idea come from, and who benefits if I pursue it? Number 2, assess your skills. Be brutally honest. What are you actually good at right now, not what you hope to be good at someday? And finally, number 3, face your reality. What does your life, your situation actually require of you at this moment?
And this is maybe the most important takeaway of all. It's about choosing discipline over passion. Sometimes you just have to do the work that is necessary, and you learn to become interested in it along the way. And you know what? Even if that deep, burning passion never really shows up, you still have to do the work. Your responsibilities don't just vanish because you're not feeling inspired. So, we're gonna leave you with this one last question to think about. I want you to take a good, hard look at the careers you've been dreaming about and ask yourself honestly, which of those interests are really, truly yours, and which ones were just planted there by someone else?